Now let us talk about ENPS or Employee Net Promoter Score. Now this is one of the important metric being used by the HR department, and it is used to measure the loyalty of the employees themselves towards the organization. ENPS, as you can understand, it stands for Employee Net Promoter Score, and it was originally being used by the marketing department to measure the loyalty of its customers. But later on, the HR department also started a version of it uh, to measure employee loyalty. And it is a very simple tool as it was used by the marketing department because many times they try to understand the customer satisfaction level, and for that they create different questionnaires which generally have few questions, but most of the times the customers are not interested in filling up long forms. So they boiled it down to one or two question, which actually would uh, get the essence of what customers feel towards them. Similarly, ENPS is also about using one or two simple questions and which will actually give an idea about how good the employee feels about this organization. Now, what happens there? This is something very important to understand is that if you ask an employee about an organization, or let us say if you ask a customer about a product by asking a question like, "Do you think the product is good?" They might say yes, very much. But when it comes about recommending this product to your family members or close friends, someone you really care about, at that point of time, the person is very uh, conscious about making a choice. They would never ever recommend something which they had a bad experience with to someone they love. So once a customer has experienced a product, the customer has used a product, then they have a positive or negative experience with that product. In case if they had found that the experience was not good, then they would never recommend it to somebody they care about. To the company itself, when they are giving the feedback, they might just get away by saying, yeah, the product was good, yeah, it's fine, it's okay. They might not give a negative feedback, but they would never recommend it to their loved ones. That is where the company can understand that how in one statement itself they can get the real feeling of the customers. Same is being applied by the organizations in their HR department to measure the loyalty of the employees. If a direct feedback is taken from the employees asking about the company, the employee might say, yeah, the company is good, it's fine enough to work. But when it is asked whether they would recommend it to, let us say, their family members to work in that company or to buy a product from that company, then the person, the employee to which you ask this question actually looks deep inside and say, and thinks about it, and assures himself that if the thing is good only, then they would recommend it to their friends or family members. So this one question actually brings out the exact feeling of the employee. That is what the net promoter score is. That is how we measure that net promoter score. Now in the remaining slides we'll see how do we measure it and how do we interpret it. To measure the employees' net promoter score, we use a questionnaire, and we use a question where the rating is given from on a scale of 0 to 10, and the question is whether how likely is it that you would recommend this organization to your family members. Now, on a scale of 1 to 10, the employee is asked to rate this question. Now, if the employee gives a rating of 0 to 6, that how likely he is to recommend this organization, he says 5. So in his mind, the employee is about kind of 50% sure of this recommendation. So this kind of a response is taken to be that of a detractor. So all the responses which are fall between 0 to 6 are grouped as detractors. The responses which fall 7 to 8 are grouped as passives, and the responses which fall between 9 to 10 are promoters. Now, those people who have given a rating of 9 to 10, they are considered as loyal, enthusiastic fans which go out of the way to talk good about the company. Those respondents who give 7 or 8 are kind of passively satisfied people who would kind of refer it, but at the same time are a little apprehensive. So these kind of recommendations are also to be qualified. Qualified means they are coming with a condition. That is what is meant by qualified. So they would say the company is good, but there is so and so problem. So this kind of referral is less enthusiastic, and these people might defect as soon as they see a competitor which is better off. Hence, they are put into passive category. And the people who give 0 to 6 as a rating, they are the people who are unhappy. They are the employees who are not happy with the company. And by word of mouth, they might say a lot of negative things. So they are to be taken as detractors. Now, once all this rating is done and you are able to know how many people are promoters, how many people, I would rather use the word employee. How many employees are passives, how many employees are detractors, you can calculate the NPS or employee net promoter score. What do you do? Now, you know the total number of employees working, then you find out the number of people or employees who have given a rating 9 to 10. You find out the number of employees who have given a rating 7 to 8. You find out number of employees who have given a rating 0 to 6. Okay. And then you calculate the percentage of promoters. Percentage of promoters is number of people, number of employees who have given a score 9 to 10 upon total number of employees into 100. That is promoter percentage. Similarly, you find out the detractor percentage. Okay. And we leave out the passives. We don't consider the percentage of passives into the calculation. Okay. We only want to know how many are net promoters. So what do? We subtract the detractors from the promoters. The percentage of detractors is subtracted from the percentage of promoters, and the result is the net promoters. Now, this is a very simple method and may not give you a detailed picture of what employees say, but actually, its simplicity is the best thing about it. So, to start with, you can get an idea whether you have more number of promoters or less number of promoters. That is where you can start off with. And always there is a question why attached to it, which can give you the insights needed to understand that what employees like or don't like about your organization. Coming on to the questions which can be there on ENPS, these questions can be on a scale of 0 to 10, how likely is it you would recommend this company as a place to work? That is all. You don't have to write number of questions or use different Likert scales or any other different kind of closed-ended questions. This one question would be good enough. Or on a scale of 0 to 10, how likely would you be to recommend this company's product or services to a friend or a colleague. So, any one question, possibly the first question you would prefer for ENPS, and then you would have a follow up question of why. So, if the person says yes, he is very likely to recommend and he gives a rating of 9, you still ask a question why. And if the person gives a rating of 2, that means he is almost not likely to recommend this organization. Still, you ask a question why. And when you get those quantitative results, you get the net promoter score in quantitative terms. That is, there is a number that gives you some impression about the loyalty of employees in your organization. But at the same time, a lot of information is embedded in the answer to the follow up question. That means why. So, a lot of reasons are there which will give you the action points. So, as far as the analysis is concerned, the HR department should work on the number to get that score, the exact score, to know whether it is positive or negative. And at the same time, they should delve down deeply into the qualitative answers being given by the respondents, who are actually the employees. The answers to the question why. So that why will tell you what people don't like or what people like. Now, when promoters they give you a reason why, that means you come to know what are the good points working in your favor. What do employees like the best? So don't overlook the answer to the why given by promoters. Actually, they are already your promoters, they like you, but they are underlining the good things, and you can use this feedback to recruit and retain your talent. You can tell the marketplace that these are the good things which we provide, that is how we are good employers. So that can help you in recruitments, and you should keep those things up. You pay your attention that this is what you did good, whether you did it knowingly or unknowingly, but this is what is actually clicking. So keep it up. Then whatever neutrals say, that is the passives, those who have given 7 or 8 as a ranking, if they have answered the question why, you have to work upon those areas, because these are the people who can be easily shifted to the promoters. They have only a few things which they don't like. They possibly are happy with most of the things, but is the qualifier. They don't like a few things. So if you're able to solve those one or two issues, these are the most probable cases which can be converted into promoters. Then comes the detractors. Now, these are the tough people to handle, and they have a lot of doubts and problems regarding things which are going on. So, if for these employees, it might be a little tough to make them promoters, but you can always come to know the major loopholes or blind spots which were there and you could not pay attention. You can come to know the concerns of these people, which actually gives you a feedback to work upon. It might be a long haul to come up to their expectations, but if you are if you have any intention of people retention, you need to pay attention to what these detractors have to say, because if it is not taken care of, a huge majority might leave and also leave bad or negative remarks about your organization. Now, considering how do we calculate? So, let us say there are 100 employees and you have done your ENPS survey with them, and then you have calculated the number of people who have given you 0 to 6 rating. Let us say those are 40 people. Then, if there are 30 people who have given you 7 to 8 rating, then 30 people are passives according to this. Then, remaining 30 people they have given you a rating of 9 to 10. Then, these 30 people have become promoters. If we calculate the percentage, now since the total number of employees is also 100, so when we use the formula number of detractors upon total employees into 100, the percentage of detractors will be 40%. Similarly, the percentage of promoters will be 30%. Now you can see here that the percentage of detractors is in any case bigger than the percentage of promoters. We are not considering the percentage of passives in any case. So percentage of promoters is less than the percentage of detractors. So your value of ENPS will be negative. So 30% minus 40% will give you minus 10%. Minus 10 is actually your ENPS because we remove the percentage sign when we are talking about the score of ENP or net promoter score. So here the ENPS has come out to be minus 10. Sign is negative, that means the promoters are less and detractors are more. But the value is only 10. That means there is not much of difference. It's only 10% of the difference. Okay. Now, if ENPS is negative, we have already discussed that the detractors are more. And if ENPS is positive, that is fantastic. That means you have more promoters. The company has more promoters than detractors. That's actually a very good situation and a very ideal situation. But most of the times you would find that people have something which they don't like, and even if it is very little thing they don't like, there are many times more detractors than promoters. So the scores which companies get is generally between minus 10 and plus 20. When we say that minus 20, that any score between minus 10 and plus 20 is normal, it only means that most of the companies tend to get their score between this. It does not mean that any score beyond this is abnormal. It is not that. But what it says is that most of the organizations they end up getting an ENPS which lies between this. Employee organizations can get a score below minus 10. They can get minus 20, minus 30, minus 40, minus 50 or whatever. But that only goes on to say that the number of detractors is extremely high. And yes, don't think of a score minus 90 or minus 100. Because if it is minus 100, what does it mean? It only says that there are no promoters. All of them are detractors only. So all of them are detractors is obviously not a good situation to be in. It will it will be very difficult to survive. A company who has all detractors, nobody is happy, no employee is happy inside. That's obviously an extreme situation. Similarly, thinking of plus 100, that means everybody is extremely satisfied. I mean, they don't even have a condition say which would say I am happy, but I mean every single employee who works there cannot see anything negative over there. This is also an ideal situation. And that is why we say that if the score is anything between 40 or 50, you are extremely lucky. You have a lot of employees who like you, who are your real fans, enthusiastic about you. Now, your ENPS score will be lower than your NPS score. NPS score is the score used to measure the loyalty of the customers. So, what it says is that ENPS score, that is employee loyalty, will be lower than the customer loyalty. Why? Because employees they are working within and day in day out they are interacting, hence there are more number of chances where they might find some problem areas, number one. And secondly, since they are working there, they are giving their time and energy in it, they obviously are much invested into the company, they have higher stakes into the company, and they expect a lot from the company, and hence their ENPS is generally low. But customers on the other hand, their investment into the company is less, and they might go away by saying giving positive feedbacks, because they might be using just one or two products once or twice for the company, but employees, they are investing much more time into the company, and hence their expectations are high. So the chances of their giving a low score to the company are definitely being there. Now, once you have that ENPS with you, you can always drill down to understand that who is saying what. So you might like to see that is your response from the females different from the males. Are your older employees saying something different, or certain department is saying something different, or some employee cohort. Cohorts are those group of people who have joined at on a particular time period. So is certain cohort saying something different than the other cohort? And once you come to know about these differences, you can try to find out the reasons behind these differences and work upon them. Now, there's an important question that how is ENPS different from other employee engagement surveys which the companies are generally using? So, one thing that the other engagement surveys, they do not divide the respondents into different categories. They simply take all the inputs and take the summation of that information and work on that. But ENPS actually divides the employees, divides the respondents into three groups, and actually does not consider the passives into the calculation. That is an important difference. Then this is just one question, and the other engagement surveys do have 10 to 30 questions most of the times. Frequency. Now, since this is a small question, a questionnaire, I mean just one question and a follow-up question, you can have it more frequently. And when we say more frequently, please do not consider that you can have it kind of every month, but within 6 months, one ENPS would be good enough. Then, because it does not take time for analysis and a lot of data crunching, and a lot of let's say movement of files from one level to the other, just one question and the answers are right in front of you. So, and along with that, it gives you the pointers of action, that is why. The why question which was attached with that question will tell you what to do, and hence you can speed up your action. That is how we end. Thank you.